still one with a ghost of us. Name in my mouth cuts too much. Half a thought and it folds in two, like a bruise leaves a mark on you. Don't hurt in my shaking hand. Know something I don't understand. Like ghosting at the edge of me. Something there that I just can't see. You hear that too? Or is it just me? Downside out, downside out. I need to go where I don't belong. Downside out, downside out. I need to go where it feels so It's the same sad song, empty space that was here all along. Every step is a borrowed shape, every second a vain escape. Laughter crying out for sin, summer stealing the autumn wind. There's a face that I almost know through a window where I won't go. If you're there, don't let me see. Check. Check. I need to go where it feels so the things I do, in my hands, in the way I speak, in the cracks when I try to sleep. And you sit like you always did, never answer, just nod your head. If I reach, do you disappear? Can't find you are never here. Don't touch the door. Don't touch the door. If it opens, there's so much downside out.
All right. Getting ready. Here we go. Okay, we got to go straight to this. Nerd Halen, May 22nd, Celestia Theater in Wadsworth, Ohio. Basically, Cleveland. Cleveland does indeed rock. We could come out in Wadsworth and say hello, Cleveland, and it would still be a reasonable thing to say. And then, of course, night before that, we are. Let's see if I can bring up the right one while doing this. We're in Pittsburgh on May 21st. First time ever in Pittsburgh for Nerd Halen. Obviously, I threw out the first pitch there at a Pirates game because they started doing the Zoltan from Dude, Where's My Car when they would run base hit or better, that kind of thing. And then, let's see. And then there was one more, which is this guy right here. Yeah. May 23rd, Chicago, Saturday nights. At the Vixen in McHenry. Look out. A new venue. We moved it. So there you have it. Anyways, hit the like, share the show, etc., and we're there. I do have a chat room in here someplace. There you are. Hi, welcome to the chat room, the greatest chat room in the history of chat rooms. right over here on the greatest live stream in the history of live streams. There are days, kids, when I'm trying to figure out what to name the show, and it is a what's the it's a buffet of riches when it comes to today's selections, and what I'm seeing consistently, and I want to, it can all be, I think, summed up relatively well with this guy right here. You'll recognize this feller right out of the gate. He's the Owen guy, Owen Schwerer for who used to be best friends with Alex Jones until he started attacking Alex Jones as a Trump flunky, which of course Alex was, and then Trump started attacking Alex Jones as not being sufficiently loyal and all that nonsense. And you would think that he and the Owen would get back together, right? You would think they'd be able to smooch and make up, go rub beards or something like that. Does that make sense? But you take a look. This is his little personal note. And let me tell you something. As somebody who does the politics thing for a living these days, especially, there are times when I'm like, this shit again. But it's not that I hate talking about it or whatever. It's just that Trump is so unoriginal and everything's a reboot with this asshole that I'm like, I'm bored of it. I can't imagine how the viewers must be. But we got to cover it because, the dude has the nuclear codes, right? But it's interesting to me how many maggots are like, people are sick of politics and disengaging. Nah, no, they're really not, especially Democrats. It seems like the people who are sick of politics all of a sudden are the people who voted for Trump.
Hello, friends. I know a lot of people out there are missing the Owen report, myself
I don't know why
included. But the stepping away from politics, the time off has been pretty important. I
think he's been off for a weekend. I mean, I don't keep track, but like we were getting videos of this guy CSL like 3 days ago. I don't know. Maybe they're still posting from before. He's like, I've taken time off, but nothing changes. So I keep posting videos from a month ago and no one notices.
Important for everybody. But you're seeing it now. It's kind of a mainstream discussion.
Is it? Am I?
Or you might say admission people are making now that they're just sick of politics. They're just sick.
No. They're not sick of politics. They're sick of Trump and his shit. And on your side, they're sick of defending him because they can't. But I got to tell you, the rest of us are looking forward to the midterms. I have not lost any wind in my sails at all. At the people who should be out there apologizing for being assholes to people like me and people who are trying to warn them that Trump is a sex pest, idiot, unsuccessful second-generation rich kid at best, and an adjudicated rapist, fraudster, and criminal at worst, Epstein's wingman. We were trying to tell you, and somehow we were the Democrats. Remember that? So no, we're not all tired. You're tired because I guess having the moral fortitude to admit you were wrong is too much of a weight. So days off?
Of the whole thing. And I kind of want to put it into a perspective here for a second. I've been able to do things with my time off that I normally can't do, some social things. And there's no doubt it is running through America's culture, social culture. People are just sick of politics.
You went out and nobody recognized you. Is that what this is? And I got news for you. That you could argue that was one of the reasons why people voted for Biden initially, was like, make politics boring again. I would argue make politics again, because as like, I don't know, reality show meets blood sport, it fucking sucks. But again, that's because of your guy.
They're sick of it. They're sick of the corruption. They're sick of the lies. It doesn't matter.
Then why did they vote for Trump? Because that's your audience. Seriously. And again, Owen was on, it was like the stunt host on InfoWars, and then he jumped ship. Interestingly enough, they had their split up right about the time when the paychecks were probably drying up. So I take that as you will, that this may not have been a split over principle, but that, Alex was like hiding money in the Caymans and expecting Owen to work for free, which, by the way, fuck them, because that's your friends. What do you expect?
Or who gets in? We always get the same result.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You didn't get a $1.5 trillion military budget and a new invasion of another foreign country during Biden, did you? You got an infrastructure act. You got the Chips and Science Act, which reshored technology firms here in the States making, chips that we need for everything. Very quote unquote America first stuff. So no, it's not the fucking same. It's never the same. And you assholes always say that when your guy fucks up the economy, and then a Democrat comes in and tries to fix shit, and then you're rubbing elbows with fucking TYT going, why aren't we getting utopia on a timeline? I told you, they're all the same. You're like, asshole, we're still cleaning up the last mess from these guys going, we need true freedom. Get the fuck out of here.
Sick of Congress. They're sick of the media. They're just sick of all of it.
No, I'm not. I like the Democrats, by and large, that are in the House and Senate, with some rare exceptions. Certainly, those exceptions are rare enough where I don't shit on the entire party for what they're trying to fucking do. And I know for a fact that none of the awful that you guys are bitching about that Trump is doing, there's no way Harris would have done that. Period. End of fucking story. So no. Carry your own weight. All right. So anyways, you guys get the point. There is a shit ton of this nonsense where these guys are doing cleanup on each other. Because we're so sick of this. They're all the same. It's all the same. The deep state. You know what I mean? It's the deep state. But then there are those, ladies and gentlemen, hit the like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. You're welcome. Then there are those that are just, they're confronted with the reality, I guess, so much that they're stuck accidentally telling the truth. This is a double hitter, I think, because it's somebody else piggybacking off of one of the other people's bad news. Trump is fucked. How would you say things are going? Getting better, getting worse, staying the same. By the way, Biden was all by and large staying the same or getting better, and maggots were even going, like, even the ones that wanted to say it was getting worse had no numbers to back that shit up. This is Jimmy Dore show. Megyn Kelly sounds the alarm about Trump's cratering poll numbers. Weird wording from a group that supposedly wouldn't support a hyper crony capitalist crypto trillionaire, right? You'd think from the alleged politics of Jimmy Dore, as a faux aggressive, he'd be lining up to shit on Trump instead of saying he was the better choice in the last election, and sounds the alarm. That means to someone. You know what I mean? If you're sounding the alarm, you're like on the same side as the person, and you're warning those fellow travelers of your own that things might not be great. Theoretically. Let's see. Ding dong.
The most recent one is a Pew polling data that I can find. This is from April 23rd. Only 32% of Americans are very or somewhat confident that Trump can make good decisions on the Russia-Ukraine war. Wow.
What's the wow part? Besides every fucking... Do you have every application open on your background? Is this the struggle is real? Is this the day that Jimmy doesn't have a producer in, so he just doesn't know how to close Windows? It's Command W. Just hold down the Command key and hit W, Jimmy. Yeah.
66% are not confident, including 41% that are not confident at all. Wow.
What was that? How much?
41% say they are not confident at all.
That Trump can make good decisions around Ukraine and Russia.
This is one of Trump's weakest.
Also, by the way, Jimmy thinks that a good decision about Ukraine is calling them Nazis and let Russia win. That's just for the record. So the definition of what good versus not good is very malleable. Yeah.
Areas across 12 foreign policy issues tested. Yeah. Well, here's what Megyn Kelly has to say about it.
Yes, because when faced with dead air, let Megyn fill it.
Trump has cratered. I mean, cratered. It's like not even present tense anymore. It's done. Just 23% approve of his overall performance. 21% of independents support this war on Iran. 21. You've got 79% of independents who are against. Folks, you cannot win elections like that.
This is another episode. Maybe this is a great business model. Maybe I'm just doing this all wrong. Maybe I get a lot more subscribers if I just sat there staring at my fucking laptop like an asshole hogging the Wi-Fi in a Starbucks. And like Jimmy and Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens, my numbers would go through the fucking roof because I play stuff. And then when it's done playing, go, huh? Is it there? Why am I bothering with all this fact checking and extra information? Because I'm me. That's why. But okay.
Democrat or Republican, you got 80% of the independents against you. You're effed. You need to adjust something ASAP. And listen to this. How many independents approve of Trump's job performance when it comes to the cost of living? 12. They were already suffering.
Wow, 12. What an important number, because that's also the lowest age he would fuck, according to his interview with Howard Stern. Yeah, he apparently thinks 12 is the bottom. Or the top, I guess, depending on how pedo you are in his friend circle.
And they were blaming him. And then we launched a war of choice that was not necessary. And their gas prices went up. And energy prices are going up. So this pain is likely only to get worse. And this war needs to come to.
I like the dramatic music in the background. You know, that's nice. It's a nice touch. Very TikTok.
An end right away. At least now President Trump seems to want it. Unfortunately, as the old saw goes, it's very easy to start a war and very difficult to end one. The Iranians get a say, and they're not rolling over.
By the way, I'm fairly certain that is a channel bogarting clips from Megyn Kelly. So Jimmy is piggybacking off of a YouTube reel from a channel that's stealing clips from Megyn Kelly. It's amazing. Workers of the world unite. It's nice that no one can take your labor. Right, Jimmy?
Trump has cratered. I mean, cratered.
Trump has cratered.
Yeah, we know, asshole. And again, boo fuckity who?
Wow, let's listen to those. Let's listen to those stats again.
You don't remember them? 12% of independents approve of what he's doing on the economy. It was like 21 and 12 for it. Like, who gives a shit? And maybe he just wants to look at Megyn again. I think that's true. Yeah.
It's like
this is basically like the Temu version of the movie Her, but it's just Jimmy Dore watching Megyn Kelly shorts.
not even present tense anymore. It's.
What are you looking at? Fuck is your problem? Here's a good idea. I just gonna throw this out there. So eyeline, Jimmy, eyeline. One of the things you could do is that if you're going to look this way, to where if what you're trying to show is over your right shoulder, right over your right shoulder, then put your monitor or your whatever you're looking at that direction, so it doesn't, when you play a clip and it to your audience, it looks like you're looking at the same thing they're looking instead of you know what I mean? It's just a little production note. That and clean up your fucking desktop? Jesus.
Done. Just 23% approve of his overall performance.
Just 23% approve of his overall performance.
Yes, those people are called maniacs. We know this. There, and I know they're going to make a bum rush for it. So, and
wow.
What are they approving?
how many times is this asshole going to say wow? And by the way, technically, based on the Marxist millionaire over here, what he sells to people, is that he's somehow on the left or a champion of the left or some nonsense like that. Used to be on TYT and was too far left even for them to pretend that they gave a shit about. And now honestly, it seems like he's part of that 23%.
Approve of?
Whoa.
21% of independents support this war on Iran. 21. You've got 79% of independents who are against. Folks, you cannot win elections like that.
So we're just going to watch this on a loop. Is this the whole show? What can I mean, the dude's got almost 2 million subscribers. Hal, why don't you just steal other people's shit and squat on their content? And you could be ginormous like Jimmy and Hassan. But besides morals, I also happen to think I'm wildly entertaining, so I don't need to just kind of fucking piggyback on other people's shit. It's my commentary that matters, not just sitting there playing somebody else's stuff and going, wow. Or in the case of Hassan, walking away from camera to electrocute his dog, take a shit, or eat some fucking Burger King or whatever the fuck that is.
Democrat or Republican, you got 80% of the independents against you. You're effed. You need to adjust something ASAP. And listen to this. How many independents approve of Trump's job?
It's still just, sorry. Is this, are we just going to sit here and watch him attempt to get wood? We are. Look at this. Jesus. He plays the whole thing again.
Boy, she's got good eye makeup. I gotta say, she really isn't it nice?
Her
whole makeup thing is great.
Finally, some truly insightful political commentary and comedy, because I don't know if you've heard. According to him, he's a comedian. Yeah, and this would be, I think, the kind of joke. I don't want to step on your toes here, big guy, but this is one of those jokes where you see something and you say something. Doesn't even have to be funny. It just has to be a detail other people might notice, and therefore you can go, huh? What's with that? And then it's, poor man's punchline.
The way she's got the hair swooping. I'm not supposed to comment on women, right? Is that bad?
Oh, you're stealing one of Trump's jokes. You say a woman's beautiful. That's the end of your political career.
On men. Just talk about men and how
Right.
they look.
Is that bad? Lisa, you should say something.
I like the swoop. I like the eyeliner,
That's what he said.
shadow,
How about the brow? Even it's nice.
Nice
strong brow.
Look at the lips. The whole. I'm not supposed to say anything.
And her décolletage.
What is that?
It's the cleavage. It's the upper part of the chest, dum-dum.
A décolletage?
Décolletage.
Oh, God. On this week's episode of Jimmy Gets Cultured.
Is that what that's called? What's a décolletage? I never heard that.
What? Yeah. That's the word for it. It's this general area of a woman's chest. For fuck's sake, you're not gonna just kind of go to why Trump might be unpopular and how you're glad he is alleged progressive.
Chest. Her.
Oh yeah, I thought. Oh, look, I'm not supposed to say anything. But anyway,
I don't even know what the fuck that is. That is so goddamn weak. You can comment on a woman's looks without gawking, or maybe you can't. Maybe that's what he means. It's a slippery slope.
there, Megyn Kelly, Trump is
Oh,
cratered.
fuck.
It's
Oh fuck! Is he gonna read a joke off there?
over. Wow. There you go. Okay. Come see me May 23rd.
Whoa, that's the whole fucking thing. I'm not. Holy shit. So sorry. So he plays that. He names the video after it. Puts a fucking giant thumbnail, piggybacking on her looks again, and who she is, and writes, like Trump is fucked. She says effed. Interestingly enough, he goes for the UCK in this situation, or the asterisk CK, and then plays it twice. What the shit? You lazy motherfucker. Good Lord. But the upside, I guess, is it's true. And Trump's numbers are ass. And there's no getting out of it. Because, I don't know if you know this, but if you want to screw up an industry, a department, an outing even, if you want to really fuck it up, and it's been going along okay, it's had its challenges, its peaks and valleys over time. If you want to do some serious damage to something, what you want to do, if you really, and you want lasting damage, you get a Trump anywhere near it. You put a Trump in charge. Because as soon as, I think, what was Bitcoin was like $120,000 per Bitcoin. When Eric and Don Jr. went, we're all in. It's the Bitcoin presidency. We're going to start our own business around Bitcoin. This is the future of Bitcoin is now. My father, as he always says, my father is the greatest Bitcoin president in the history of my father. And as soon as they get in, it's, what is it worth? 68,000 right now, like nearly cut in half because they invested in it. Anything you put one of these dickheads near, they will fuck it up. Well, guess what? Eric Trump removed from public leadership of fintech company with Trump family ties. I guess if you blame, what'd you do? Let him make decisions? What are you, stupid? I mean, you're a Bitcoin investor, so yeah, but Eric Trump removed from public leadership of fintech company the Trump family ties, what it says. And then we go to, President Trump's son, Eric, no longer appears on the leadership webpage for Alt 5 Sigma Corp, a fintech company closely linked to his family's World Liberty Financial Crypto. Gee, wouldn't be because their entire equity and profits have dropped to nothing. Could be that they basically, he has the same monetary policy as the Joker in The Dark Knight. Though reasons for his removal are unclear, Bloomberg first reported Thursday. Eric Trump was listed as a board advisor and an advisor at Alt 5 Sigma, a Las Vegas-based fintech company, which nothing sounds less sketchy than a Las Vegas-based financial tech firm. I mean, his dad fucked up a casino. I'm honestly. Eric could close the bunny ranch by putting his face on a fucking coupon. That recently rebranded as AI Financial Corp. Wow. What a fucking reach. I don't know. That sounds like a great investment. Guys, my father says my father's giving all this AI money. We should we should put we should change our name to AI because my father. Alt Sigma Corp entered a partnership with the Trump-founded World Liberty Financial in August, known for liberating people from their life savings all over the world. Striking a deal in which the company purchased $1.5 billion worth of World Liberty fucking crypto. Is it going to say crypto? Stock? Yep. World Liberty Financial crypto tokens. They gave him $1.5 billion, and then it ate shit so bad they had to kick his son off the board. Neither Trump nor Alt 5 Sigma have commented on his removal, but World Liberty Financial spokesperson David Waxman told Bloomberg Trump is a highly visible and active fuck up on the board. Active co-founder of World Liberty Financial. Well, yeah, dumbass, that's not the point. He was on the board of this other thing. World Liberty Financial is a Trump grift. It's basically so they can launder Saudi, Qatari, and UAE money to bribe him while he's in office. It's the entire purpose. After Trump is out of office, World Liberty Financial will crater because it won't serve a purpose anymore. Why the fuck does people need to shuffle money through a Trump-based crypto if they're not trying to bribe him with the transfer fees? Good Lord. Anyway, so this is what do I know about business? These guys are smart, and again, Trump in this, where is he in this whole business? Trump signs a bunch of executive orders in this, and I think that's fucking an hour long. That's just too much to deal with. He was doing this this afternoon. Hello. They had him back to signing pages of Project 2025, even to the point where he signed one of them twice. So they go in here, and there you go.
And the next level.
Again, by the way.
And open a new local.
Always start filming after he's already in the room and seated. This is like, this is the same cover Roosevelt got.
For all Americans. That was really much promises made. As I say, promises kept. I'm thrilled.
Yeah, you should trademark that because it doesn't have to be true. Press at 12 minutes. And in this one, okay. Because this one's the cut-off version of, I think, too, because we don't have to watch this whole this nonsense. Yeah, so he signs this thing and then holds it up like he made Boom Boom in his diaper.
The National Fallen Firefighters Memorial Weekend. Awesome. As you know, firefighters
this is where he starts taking questions.
Do an incredibly difficult, dangerous job.
Again, an executive order honoring fallen firefighters, totally fine. Most presidents do something similar. I would argue all of them have at some point. They just don't want a pat on the back for it. You think Biden gave a shit about firefighters? Yeah, he raised the funding for them and made sure there was plenty of money for them in the FEMA funding and other stuff. Yeah, he kind of did. I mean, he didn't have people film him signing a piece of paper saying so. I care about the firefighters. Look, I signed a piece of paper that says so, which has zero impact on them.
Help keep us all safe. This is a proclamation honoring their
a proclamation. Damn.
sacrifice and remembering those who
beats memorizing and saying it out loud. I mean, it's nice to sign that thing or whatever, but maybe say a few words yourself. Since you're proclaiming the value of firefighters, doesn't it seem like a great idea for you to just actually go, hey, by the way, we don't need to sign anything on this. I want to take a moment and thank you guys for pausing it, but it occurred to me last week while we were working on some other things, and I made a note to myself that I wanted to say how grateful I am on behalf of everybody in my cabinet, my party, the other party, I'm sure, and grateful Americans that firefighters do an amazing job. And sometimes they may feel like it is thankless. It is very dangerous. The worst day of your life is often their average day. So I want to say on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you. And we will do everything we can to make sure that you have the resources you need to do your job effectively and to, heal if you are, God forbid, injured, and that we take care of the people around you if you're, claimed by this, terrifically painful and dangerous job. That would be, an actual proclamation as opposed to signing a proclamation and going, look, I made a squiggles. By the way, how many fucking letters are in Trump?
That's right.
There's his middle initial.
Everybody likes that?
You bet.
That's pretty fucking long. Also, does his last name end with a T as well? The fuck how is that a P? T R-U-M-E got a P, which looks like a mountain. P of the mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, see?
Firefighters.
That one deserves something.
Yeah. Fuck, what are you applauding? I mean, you're not applauding the firefighters. They're applauding him. This does nothing for firefighters. Genuinely. It will have no impact on their lives, their jobs, anything.
Okay.
Put that on the stack of other things. That's a big one.
Lastly, sir, this is another proclamation.
Ooh, 2 proclamations. It's a double proclamation. Thank God he's not doing any of that politics as usual, worthless, chest-beating, self-aggrandizing shit that other presidents get criticized for. Thank God those days are behind us.
Administration, particularly the First Lady, have made foster and adoptive care major priorities. This is a proclamation declaring National Foster Care Month, honoring those who have participated in foster programs, who have helped raise foster children, and speaking about the many things.
Which minority month are we eliminating? What, Women's History? What do you think? Which one do you think he's overriding? This is next February, by the way, Mr. President. Mm-hmm.
That your administration, including the First Lady's office, have done on that set of issues.
Yeah, it's been a big thing for the First Lady, so this is in honor of her.
It's been a big thing for the First Lady. How do you know that? Because he just told you it was. You missed her fucking birthday. You certainly don't know what her priorities as the First Lady have been. Be best.
First Lady.
Well said.
This is for. I'm not really doing it for foster parents. I'm doing it for First Lady. So really, you're applauding her, and she's a movie star now. God damn! It's like seriously, it's like watching a toddler walk for the first time when they should have walked 4 years ago, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, it's happening!"
I spent time
That's all it's got, sir.
I spent time in foster care.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
God is good.
Thank you very much.
That guy just said I spent time in foster care, and Trump would, that's good. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Pass that on.
Do you have any questions? Maybe we discuss the first signing first.
Sure. Yeah.
Have anything on that?
Mr. President,
Please.
Mr. President, how is this going to help with small business owners? Do you think this is going to inspire more people to go into small businesses that might be reluctant earlier?
Oh, he creates this government-backed 401 matching funds thing with an executive order for people below a certain income level that's that they don't have the money to actually put it in there. It's like signing an executive order that says any person who makes less than $20,000 a year can put any gold coins they find in a magic well in a savings bank, and the dark fairies can't steal it. That's the amount of impact it will have.
For IRA, to have their IRA, this is going to, help
Well,
give them.
I tell you, small businesses now are thriving. And as you know, more people are working right now than at any time in the history of our country. We're doing.
Yes, that good old Republican hustle. Remember when George W. Bush famously said to the woman who had 3 jobs, "That's uniquely American."
Great. And there's more investment being made in the United States than any country at any time in history.
Yeah, as long as you don't count all the canceled stuff.
And a lot of that's AI, and a lot of that's maybe,
Yes, you mean artificial?
in a certain way, maybe more importantly, auto plants are all coming back to our country. They're coming back from different countries where they left us, for Germany.
Yeah, no, they actually aren't.
You know, Japan and South Korea and Canada, Mexico, and they're all coming back at levels that nobody's ever seen before.
And still don't.
And tariffs did it. I did it. Maybe the election did it, but tariffs did it. And
No, they didn't, because they've been canceled. Why would you build a factory when his permanent tariffs have gone away? They're not guilty of flooding the market with cars. And by and large, you know, a lot of our cars are either too big or don't meet the standard of places like Italy and fucking Japan, for example. The streets are too small for an F-150, so they don't sell a lot of them. This is what I'm saying. It's not because the government's like, no American cars. It's because they're like, where the fuck am I going to park that thing?
if they build here, they don't have to pay tariffs. We have Germany.
They don't have to pay tariffs. They don't. After the 150 days is up, which is like mid-June, why would you build a factory if there's no permanent status? Why would you spend years building a factory when you don't have to pay those tariffs? When you're just simply selling something into the country that competes with another product in the country, and just the cost of like shipping it and setting it to the highest standards in our country, which are of course California, might be the expenditure of equal to a tariff that you might do anyways. Jesus.
Is giving a lot of companies are coming in from Germany, from Japan. Japan just announced $10 billion more plants going to be built between Toyota and Honda and all the different companies they're pouring into our country. In South Korea, Canada, they're coming in. I don't know what they're doing, but I can.
They're not pouring in. There are no Canadian car companies pouring into the United States. Buy the new Canadian Hoser. It's like the 2026 Hoser. Take off, eh? It looks like a conversion van from the 70s, and it runs on beer, eh? I'm getting whiplash from my burps.
Coming in tremendously from Canada.
They are totally coming in tremendously from Canada. Do any of these dickheads believe this? The guys behind them, from the states that they would be going into if they were pouring in tremendously from Canada?
Reason they don't want to pay the tariff, and because of that they're investing at levels never seen before.
Right, and still not seen.
We will, for 30 years we virtually didn't build an auto plant in this country, and now we're doing more than we've ever done. So I'm very proud of that. AI is going wild. We're doing great.
Yeah, it's going wild. It's blackmailing some of its owners. It's getting people are caught in hallucination loops and stuff like that. But that's when you only use the old models. Just saying. I had a great conversation about tomorrow, Friday AI. Just a little teaser for tomorrow. I have a story about a conversation I had about AI, and I'm working on a new robot. I hope it will be done in time to show you guys tomorrow. I'm almost done with it.
And we're letting them build their own electric, but we're actually making them build their own electric plant, so they take tremendous amounts of energy to have a successful plant. And they're building, all of the new ones are building their own electric plant, like a utility, and any extra they'll either give it or sell it for a good price too.
Yeah, they'll probably just give it, probably. I think they're all going to just give it away, especially Meta, or Elon Musk, famous for their philanthropy. They'll definitely give it away. And, you have to weigh the free energy they're not going to give away against the coal smoke.
Local communities and to the grid. So it's going to be fantastic. But we have tremendous amounts of factories being built in our country now, more than we've ever had at any time ever before.
Also, not even remotely true.
And we have the biggest investment being made in our country. In the history of our country, by the way, in the history of any country, there's never been a country that has the kind of investment.
Yeah, when you get to make up the numbers, I guess anything's possible, kids.
Coming in that we have right now. And these things are...
Just in case, I know there's some debate about this, but in case anybody's wondering.
This is some bullshit.
Yeah, this is... It's like muscle memory at this point. Even maggots don't believe it. So, just for the record,
being built right now, so you're not going to see the results. I mean, you see construction results. You notice the construction workers are through the roof, but when they open,
yeah, building giant warehouses that will have 0 employees.
the numbers are going to be staggering. Do you have a question?
I certainly do. Thank you, Mr. President. You guys
Maybe if I pick from another side of the room, I can bullshit about something else.
good economic news, GDP, 2% growth.
Yeah.
Orders for business equipment surged to the highest level in 6 years. And IRS data shows that the average federal tax return is up by more than 11%.
Oh, this is one of the Newsmax, or quite frankly, more than likely just a stenographer in the PR team at the White House. Let's ask him a question he'll like. We'll put our own guy in there. We'll tell everybody it's from a fucking blog.
Compared to the same time as last year. Do you believe
It is up over 100%.
Do you believe that this is evidence of the big, beautiful
Yes, there was one last year. Now there's 2. It's incredible. We don't know how you did it.
tax cuts that you signed into law last year are working? And do you think the economy is going to continue to hum as the year progresses?
Yeah, thank you. So,
Thank you for asking me if I think the economy is going to hum.
the biggest tax cut in history is in the great, big, beautiful bill.
Right. So this wasn't a tee up at all.
And I think, I see it. I actually see it reported where people are shocked at how much money they're making. They can't believe the refunds that they're making. 5,000, 6,000, 7, 8, 9,
12, 15, 75. Every number just sounds weak if the longer you say it. So just double it. Fuck it.
When I saw one last night on television, 11,000 more than she thought she was going to get.
That you didn't see her on television. That was the lady that came to the White House. Holy shit. You were watching yourself. For those of you that missed it, that was the lady from fucking DoorDash. Wait a second. Hold on. What the hell? Oh, God damn it. Type. Okay, here we go. Good Lord. Just in case you guys forgot, this is where Trump was like, this doesn't look fake and staged at all. I feel like an asshole.
Oh, nice to see you.
Nice to meet you. I have your DoorDash order for you, Mr. President.
Oh, that's very nice. Look at this. This doesn't look staged, does it?
They're all your favorites.
That's right. These are good. DoorDash is doing a good job.
Yeah, aren't they? I mean, they're a company. You're just one of the people who is part of the hustle economy. They're doing great on top of you, I guess, right?
So, the reason for this is the fact
is the tip you have in your pocket, you're supposed to give her, and then she can stand there for a minute and talk about no tax on tips, and then you can let her go, and if you want to talk to the press afterwards, you can. But instead, you stand there with 2 fucking bags of McDonald's, basically explaining how contrived and shitty this whole thing is, and then you put the bags down and forget to give her the tip, and a reporter has to remind you that that she made $11,000 in tips.
Isn't that incredible?
Oh, wait, hold on.
And just based on, was that surprising to you?
Hold on, back in.
That I heard you picked up an extra $11,000 at
Right. Now, back to this. That was like, when was that? It was a fucking week ago? When was this? It was 2 weeks ago. This was 2 fucking weeks ago. I have no sense of time in this crazy burned out burger of a world we live in. 2 weeks ago, a real life woman came to the White House. He saw her in person and he did a little shtick with her about the $11,000 she got as a tip. And then Sewage Brain ends up squirting this garbage out.
5,000, 6,000, 7, 8, 9. One I saw one last night on television, 11,000 more than she thought she was going to get. And it's no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, no tax.
Yeah, we holy shit. We saw it. What the fuck?
On Social Security for our seniors, no tax on social. Nobody can believe it.
God damn, dude. I want to play. It's almost like I need to play that Candace Owens deja vu thing again. It's almost like I need to play that Candace Owens deja vu thing again. It's almost like
And the numbers are far greater than they thought. People that thought they were going to make an extra $500, turns out they're making an extra $5,000. So it's been really great, yeah. And that's going to carry forward. Look, the country's doing really well. And that's despite a military operation. I don't call it a war. It's rather
well, legally you can't. They just reminded you again.
A military operation where
you just passed the deadline for the 60 days and you have 30 days to wind it down.
Really, I mean, Iran is dying to make a deal. I can only tell you that. I don't want to.
Well, they aren't. I mean, arguably a bunch of them are dying, but they're not dying to make a deal. They're dying instead of making a deal, or they're dying to die instead of making it. I don't know what the fuck.
But they cannot be nuclear other than that, but they are.
So they can control the Strait of Hormuz, and they can fund terror proxies, and they can remain the number one state sponsor of terror. Just as long as they don't have nukes, they're allowed to do all of the rest of that. That's what he's saying. All it is about nukes. They can have the Strait of Hormuz. As the new Ayatollah's fucking cardboard cutout released a statement yesterday that they're going to control the Strait of Hormuz forever.
Their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone. Every ounce of any form of equipment, practically.
Every ounce of any form of equipment. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a grown man speaking from the Oval Office.
Is gone. You know, their drone factories are about 82% down.
Right. Oh, weird. Just like the drugs coming from South America.
And their missile factories are almost 90% down.
Almost? How much? What do you mean by almost? Well, 20%, which is almost 90. I mean, because it's closer to 90 than not, than to negative 90.
And many of their missiles have been knocked out between.
Yeah, they're drunk.
They used some, but we knocked out more than they used.
I suppose he means bombing the weapons stores, but I'm fairly certain we didn't shoot down more missiles than they fired.
And it's pretty amazing what's happened. They want to make
it is. It's amazing when we shoot down missiles that haven't been fired.
a deal. But despite the fact that we are in what some people would call a war.
Yes, you mean the Department of War, for example?
We just hit a
new
high today on the stock market. We have S&P is through the roof. They're through the roof. And, you know, when we hit 50,000 on the Dow and 7,000.
They said it couldn't happen and blah, 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 which they did.
On the S&P, I said to myself, we got to do something.
No, thank you.
Think about Iran. They want to have a nuclear weapon. You can't let them have a nuclear weapon. And I hated to do it to my people because they said.
Well, I thought you handled that last year. Didn't you obliterate the Iranian program last year? Wasn't that the
50,000? Peter, you know this. That 50,000 wouldn't be obtainable in my 4 years or anybody's 4 years. And
he's nodding at you as you're speaking, but he doesn't actually believe that, right? He's going, I'm hearing you.
We hit 50,000 on my first year. The end of my first year, we hit 7,000 on the S&P. They said that would be even less.
Yeah, because of AI. Because AI is carrying the entire market. For real. Like, get the fuck out of here. A new industry being basically invented during the Biden administration because of the release of ChatGPT and the cascading economic effects of that industry aren't something you made up.
Attainable, and we hit that at the end of the first year, before the year was up.
And then we decided to fuck it up.
I said to Kevin, sorry about this, Kevin, but we have to put out a fire, and the fire is taking place.
Well, we had to start one, actually.
In the lovely country of Iran, and they want to have a nuclear weapon. And if we didn't use this beautiful, see that plane right there, that beautiful B-2 bomber?
Yeah, it's a model.
It looks small there, but it's actually quite.
Yet they're laughing at you, not with you. He's not kidding.
It doesn't look very powerful there, but it's.
What he means is, and I'm dead serious. If you look at, there are two airplane models on the table. There's the B-2, and then there's the what I would presume is the prototype. It's either an F-35 that they called the F-47 and gave him a little participation trophy. And the reason this one, the B-2 bomber is much larger than the fighter, but the models are the same. And that apparently bothers him, is that he doesn't want this one smaller, but to scale, the B-2 should be larger, which I guess to scale it would take up his whole fucking desk, even in miniature. I'm dead serious. So just to be clear, that's why he says it looks smaller. He's not saying it to be funny. He's not making a joke about it's a model, not the real thing, which is what everybody thinks he's joking about. What he means is two of his toys are the same size, even though one should be scaled much larger.
Quite large, actually. We ordered 25 more of them. The updated version, all built.
Yes, which is even bigger.
In America.
And gold plated, so they, fly like a boat anchor.
Which is very nice, right? But if we didn't have that B-2 bomber, if we didn't go in and do what we did, we obliterated that nuclear capacity of theirs.
Well, then why are we there now?
And so they didn't get the nuclear bomb. If we didn't do that attack, should have been done long before I came along by other presidents or by.
Yeah, but that still doesn't explain why we're attacking them now. If you obliterated
another country or something, but it should have been done long before I came along. But they are in very bad shape, and they've got.
Why didn't you do it in your first term? I guess then, if it was that crucial. Also, why'd you run on no more foreign wars, no more, wars in the Middle East, no more regime change wars? I'm going to be the peace president. Why would you run on that if you were intending on doing this the whole time? Oh, right. Lying. Yes.
Nothing including leadership. I mean, their leaders are gone. Now they have a whole new, their first string leaders are gone. Their second string leaders are gone. Now we're dealing with their third string. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, time has a way of moving forward, and that's when you find out things happen. We'll see what happens. Is it the only truthful statement he ever says?
It's been an amazing period of time between.
It has. Amazing. That's what I was thinking. Amazing period of time.
Venezuela, and where we're doing great. We're getting along with them great. We're working very closely with them. They're
well, we're not, obviously, the I'm sorry, 1 second. One of my little things is this. Dink. Like this. Dink, dink. Back on. Why is this up? Oh, I see. That's why. Dink. There we go. Wanted it to match from my vertical version. Never mind.
They're doing more oil now than they've done in many, many decades, actually. And they're making more money, and so are we. It's like a joint venture, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not.
And we paid for the attack many times over. The attack, something you've never heard before, probably. I always used to say to the victor, belong the spoils.
Right, that's what imperialists and robber barons and criminals say.
But we paid for the attack, which is always expensive. But it was a less than 1 day attack. It was actually a 45-minute attack. And that's a good, they have a good military in Venezuela, but they did not expect that and that and that and that.
We did not fire on Venezuela with B-2 bombers, you fucking tit. It was a kidnapping. It was we didn't have shock and awe. Honest to God, does he think footage of Tehran being hit by us and the Israelis and areas around it, does he honestly think that happened in Venezuela too?
Other than that, well, when these suckers come at you at 2,500 miles an hour at 25 feet off the ground, you say, this is not what I bargained for. This is no good. Anyway, and now, Venezuela was amazing, but now we're doing essentially, it's larger, but we're doing essentially the same thing in Iran.
No, we're not. It's nothing like that. 45 minutes arresting the leader of a country and bugging out with him and his wife, killing or shooting at 100 people along the way, versus targeting military and civilian sites within a country for days and days and days and days on purpose. It's nowhere near the same thing.
Can't let Iran have a...
Is this recent? This is today. This is a couple of hours ago.
...nuclear weapon, and their economy...
Again, he keeps saying we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Okay, you destroyed their potential for a nuclear weapon last year. The only way they can never have one is if you eliminate any remnant of the Islamic Republic regime. So just say this is a regime change war, and we're not talking about the leadership. The actual functioning structure of Iran's government has to change for this to work. It's so fucking dumb.
Crashing. The blockade is incredible. The power of the blockade is incredible. They're not getting any money from oil. And hopefully it can be worked out very soon. Yeah.
What do you mean worked out? They're not interested. They walked away from talks. We walked away from talks. What are we working out?
Iran is proving to be very stubborn. The talks seem like they are stalled.
They don't seem like that. They are stalled.
Are you getting antsy to break the ceasefire?
Well, I mean, I don't know what stubborn is, because really nobody knows what the talks are except myself and a couple of other people.
Sorry, real quick. What the talks are? I think I hate to fucking be the sort of soup brain translator in this situation, but I think what he means is nobody knows the details of the negotiations, but what the talks are might be closer to the truth, because again, he's got a fucking head full of used diapers. Back up a second.
To break the ceasefire.
Well, I mean, I don't know what stubborn is, because really nobody knows what the talks are except myself and a couple of other people. They want to make a deal badly.
Then why aren't they? Thank you, CSL. Yeah.
And we have a problem because nobody knows for sure who the leaders are.
Well, then what the fuck are the who gives a shit? What the fuck in that? All right. How? Then it's not even about stubborn anymore. Who's on the other end of the phone? How about, let's start there. If you're not going to fly there and talk to people, when you allegedly have these conversations, who the fuck is on the other end of the phone? And who the fuck says that they can actually do any of the things they agree to, or even do any of the things they say they're not gonna, that they are gonna do if you try something else? Holy shit. What? What is that? You can't say nobody knows how the negotiations are going except me and my people, when you're like, I don't even know who their people are, but we're having great negotiations. They're dying to make a deal. Who? I don't know. Ugh. Good God. All right. We could do this all night, and you can see his brain's turning to fucking tapioca right before your very eyes. But there are other things I want to cover, because there's a bunch of turd polishing going on. Can we jump into it will be mercifully short if we visit once again the most miserable man on the internet, Greg Kelly at Newsmax. Ladies and gentlemen, there are a few people with Trump daddy issues syndrome. I guess that's his own version of TDS. That is so desperately sad that he just gets to watch what happens around Trump from afar and fantasize about how he would have thrown himself in front of Trump and tripped him, I guess, when he was leaving the stage. So this apparently there's some new breaking information though, and if Greg Kelly has it, you know everybody else has already had it for hours.
All right, a couple of things I have to go through. Number one,
there's video. Number one, I just went number one.
The full kind of elapsed sequence from the other night, from the first shot to when President Trump is off that stage. We're going to see some interesting things, and I think we're going to see some things that nobody else has noticed, all right?
What, that it took 10 seconds before they covered him, and they got Vance out of there first, and that it took them longer to get him out of there because he fell down. Also, the guy was a floor away.
Hit it.
Yes, it's important to point out that there were gunshots. Everyone in the room heard them except Trump. Like, his wife is like, what the fuck? And Trump's like, wow, nice magic trick. And at no point does anyone tell him to get down. Yeah, they told him to get down and then told him to get right back up again. They told me to duck, and I was like, I started quacking, and they're like, not that kind of duck.
Where's it at? Well, we're so glad everybody's all right. And is this nitpicking? Absolutely, it's nitpicking.
No, this would be an after-action criticism, I think. Depends. I mean, unless you're going to start talking about outfits.
Because this kind of event deserves it. You know, we nitpicked after Butler.
Is that what you were doing? This is Greg Kelly, live from Butler, Pennsylvania, for your weekly nitpick. Not only was the shooter allowed to get up on the roof, and people were able to film it for almost 15 minutes, and he ran a drone over that, but look at this grass. Who mowed this? You can see the lines between where the mower went.
And we thought things would change, and they haven't. Now, first, I want to show you something.
Well, Trump kept the same team. So, again, there's an important question here that Tucker Carlson, I think, brings up at one point. And him and Kara Crackpot, the ex-CIA guy who went to jail for giving a reporter the name of a confidential, like an undercover CIA agent. Lovely fellow. And wants a pardon from Trump for doing that. Thought he would get one by going on Tucker, which just shows you the quality of his analytics. We'll get to their kind of criticism of this circumstance and their inability to kind of put two and two together.
That happens.
I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. So, like, sometimes you just know a single cat hair is just like, let's go. Right.
10 seconds or so into this thing, Vance is grabbed and out of his chair.
Right. Well, the alleged shooter went to a school that Peter Thiel basically pays for. So I'm kidding. It's not tied.
The guy comes up to him, grabs him, pulls him out of that.
Well, most of the agents can lift J.D. Vance. He's a featherweight
chair, and he is on his way. Several seconds after that, what's the situation like behind President Trump?
Well, in their defense, they were looking for the dolly. We've got to get the president out of here. Get this under his chair. Somebody else pull.
They're still hanging around trying to figure out what to do. Now,
well, according to Trump, he told them that he wanted to see what was going on because he's stupid.
I think I understand where they're coming from. They want to get
backstage
this right.
Sorry, they don't give a shit if they get it right with JD Vance, but they want to get it right with Trump? What are you talking about?
They don't want to screw it up. It's not only President.
Hey, asshole. The only way they could screw it up is to let him get shot. If they're overly cautious, no one will fault them. There were gunshots in the lobby. They got over their wire, shots fired. Real gunshots a little ways away. Just even in the fucking parking lot, they would be getting them the fuck out of there. So no, they weren't like, well, he'll get mad at us.
Trump, it's President Donald Trump.
Right, and he's fat, right? He's enormous, and he moves very slowly and reacts very slowly, and he's partially deaf, and even when he hears words, he doesn't understand them.
Are they nervous? Does this VIP syndrome?
Nervous? Yes, they're nervous that a president will die on their watch.
Kick in? Is it inhibiting them from taking action? Remember, VIP syndrome.
Yes, they're starstruck. That's exactly what. Oh my fucking God. What? His security detail that listens to him fucking fart up the beast all day long. They can hear it on comms every time they fucking, any of them get assigned to him at least once a day. The eagle has landed. The eagle has landed. That's in the fucking beast. No, they're not starstruck, you dumb motherfucker. What?
Sometimes you take too many actions. Sometimes you take too few.
Sometimes you take just right. And that's why we need to hire more Goldilocks agents.
It makes people overly cautious. Folks, that is strange. And
no, it's not. It's not strange at all, Greg. It's fucking dumb, buddy. You're a moron. That's not what happened.
It's inexplicable. Other than
no, it's explicable. He's a slow mover, so they're like, cover him from the back in case there's anybody else, and get some guys out and stand in front of him.
This VIP thing, it kind of.
No, again, oh my, I can't. I mean, talk about projection. Greg thinks they're starstruck, and that's why they didn't do it.
Makes sense. Now, when does President Trump actually first make the move out of the chair? When did they actually? That's 22 seconds. 22.
Yeah, I know. It's I've said for a long time that they should have a non-harming, but an electrode in his seat. Obviously, it would have to be waterproof because it's gonna get wet. But that they could shock him and get him up out of his chair.
Seconds. This is just incredibly too long.
It is incredibly too long, said no one ever.
Now, somebody tried to say to me, well, we have a protocol, and the protocol is you got to wait for the guys with the big guns, right?
No, they don't. They absolutely do not. Nobody says that's the protocol. You know how I know? We all saw fucking Butler, dummy. The people in suits jumped him. They didn't wait till the guys in tactical gear showed up to walk him off the stage, you tit.
Guns, and the guys with the big guns do show up. Right? At about 20 seconds, they're running in. And it's not really...
Yeah, but they were taking a piss, and it's a lot. You got to take all that gear off to
until they get there that the move is made to get President Trump off the chair. I'll point out, he's the only guy in a chair still.
Well, there just might be a complication that they have run into before of getting him out of or into a chair. This is not just as simple as somebody walking over and sitting down, that this is an undertaking and they know it.
Everybody else is either under a table or out of there off the stage. He is still in an elevated position. I know that.
Right. He's also stupid. Yeah. What's the noise? Gosh!
The guy in front of him, but just one guy. This is wrong. All right, watch.
Well, I mean, he's wearing, bulletproof vest, and he would absorb it and stuff. And the other guys are reaching around him.
These guys come running in.
Action Jackson. And I like where the guy tries to step over the little cover on the Diaz with the sign or whatever, and basically has to do that like don't touch your balls to the electric fence moment.
All right. So, I understand they got to keep their tactics and procedures secret.
Yeah, that's why they closed the curtain on the thing so nobody would see their tactics.
It seems to me that this might be a check.
Hold on. You got the Carl Weathers. All right.
List item that you don't move the president until you got the guys with heavy guns.
That's not a thing at all. You're fucking stupid. That's not a thing. It's not a thing. It's never been a thing. It's not. They didn't wait to push Reagan into the limo until fucking soldiers showed up in tactical helmets. What are you talking about? Not a thing. Never was a thing. You're an idiot.
Well, small guns work well as well. They got guns right there. This is the kind of thing that sounds smart. Maybe, when you're planning, we're going to.
No, it's not. It doesn't sound smart because nobody ever brings it up. There is no protocol about wait to get him out of there until guys with guns show up. Shut the fuck up. You're out of your goddamn mind. This is garbage. You're making this up. You heard this somewhere, and it had to have come from inside your own dumbass head. Or I guess there's a chance he was talking to another Newsmax host who's equally as fucking stupid as he is. That's never been a thing. That will never be a thing. Ever. No president would be okay with that. Why are you getting me out of harm's way? Wait for the other guys to put themselves into harm's way and then move me out of harm's way. What the fuck?
Wait for the heavy assets to get there.
Well, you might be onto something with that whole heavy assets kind of a thing, because it might have just been that he insists on cover when they're lifting him up away from the table because he's ashamed of his cankles or something. We need to put up a fucking wall in front of him of other people so they don't spot the fact that, when we lift him up by his pants, there's a squishing sound.
But we got to reevaluate this.
He never gets to it. He just goes, that shouldn't be a thing. You know, the thing that isn't a thing? That shouldn't be a thing. Great. Thanks, Greg. Brilliant. Thank God we have Newsmax, so we have real inside scoop. God damn. All right. There was it's hard to even judge on this. So Erica Kirk came out with a video going after Candace Owens. Now, this was after the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's like, maybe, whatever. And when I show you what she was wearing, you're going to go, why does she look like a tactical supervillain in a Marvel film?
Turning Point USA CEO.
Shit, I didn't want to open that. Reload it. Quit it. There it is. I'm going to open this guy because I want you to see that. This is the outfit she wore for this takedown of people who were going after her. Now, I probably, people on our side of the aisle, have been the most, willing to defend her as a grieving widow. Not because of the believability of what she says or the circumstance itself, but because of the person I choose to be. It's very important that people remember that just because you choose to be the bigger person in any kind of situation does not mean that the other person has one up on you, as it were. And it's always, I think, better to default on the side of believing a woman unless you have direct evidence that she's a liar or a fraudster or whatever, specifically, okay? That said, this is creepy as fuck. She was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and there's a shot of her walking by, and right as she's at the camera, right as it's here, she goes, I just want to go home. Like, she manages to, nail that line right there. Is she still grieving? Good grief. It's been less than a year, and her husband was shot in the fucking neck on I I was about to say national TV, but national YouTube on on video. She, so for the record, yeah. So I don't have any problem. My dad died in November. I'm going to be grieving for a good long while, and it comes and goes. And so maybe I'm, and I'm okay with being overly sympathetic in this area, more than most people think is warranted. I don't care. Do you understand? It's better to be this way than the other way. Okay.
Turning Point USA CEO Erica Kirk going live on the Charlie Kirk Show following.
No, this was a pre-taped video.
Following the shooting at the White House correspondent.
No, it was not live. She did not go live. They pre-taped it and they posted it.
Association dinner. Listen.
Seems to me that nothing will ever be enough for the evil in this world.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be evil, I guess.
Our country has become unrecognizable.
No, it hasn't. I asked the friends and family of Martin Luther King Jr. or Medgar Evers or JFK or RFK or fucking, Reagan was shot.
These people have perverted the truth to the point that they motivated the murder of my husband.
They? Who's they?
Continuously tried to assassinate the president. And
they? Who? Again, who the fuck is they, dipshit?
Anyone who stands in their
we are a part of the Rhythm Nation.
way is labeled hateful, racist, fascist, and every other trigger word that is grossly dishonest.
Joining us now to react, senior writer for the Washington.
Wait, so that's all they're playing of it? Hold on. Do they go back to more of it? Or they just... I guess they play more of it here. Let's see. I don't care what these dipshits say about it.
There has never been a president who has faced this many assassination attempts in America.
Yeah, there have, actually. Yeah. Also, it's amazing that we're supposed to be scared of the deep state being tied to the UN and the Illuminati and the Pentaverate and all that, and yet they apparently can't hit the broadside of a fucking barn when they do have a shot at him, and then have really ham-handed shitty attempts the rest of the time.
Entire history. The reaction from the far left has been, at best, a shrug, and in some cases, a sick disappointment that the shooter was unsuccessful.
Yeah, again, there was that same spectrum on the right.
That's what Jimmy Kimmel did to the First Lady.
No, he did that joke before this happened, shithead. And it was about the fact that she's a trophy wife and he's fucking old. And he's clearly in a mental decay and he's going to die soon because he's elderly and in poor health, no matter what they tell you. And that's the joke that he's making because it's about, it's a joke about her being a gold digger. Now, I understand why some people might take that personally.
He said that she had the glow of an expected widow.
No. She had the glow of an expectant widow because it's a play on expectant mother. The glow of an expectant mother and then widow, alternating the life-death aspect of it for comedic purposes. But please be a fucking weakling about jokes now.
Just 48 hours before that nightmare almost became...
Yes, it was a joke that happened before this happened.
A reality.
And it had no chance of becoming a reality. There was no fucking way this guy's plan would be successful. No chance. If they had taken down the magnetometers, the guy still would have run through it, through the area. If that there were so many Secret Service guys out there, they almost shot each other. Get the fuck out of here. There was no way this asshole with this plan was ever going to be able to shoot the president. Not even as slow and as nitpicky as we might get with the fucking Greg Kelly's notes on an assassination. No, it was never going to work. That's why people feel free to shrug it off, because it was dumb and he was in no danger.
And Joe, she used a really important phrase that I think underscores why this is happening. She called it the epidemic of dehumanization. Your
Sorry, why? Fascists were human beings. Nazis even were human beings. She just called everybody who's against Trump evil and collectively shoved them into the word they as if they're responsible for or cheerleading assassination attempts on him. So get the fuck out of here with dehumanization. First of all, you made every individual Democrat or, or liberal in the country into a singular they. Eat shit.
thoughts, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, a permission slip for violence. I mean, this assassination culture where she's right. It's a shrug at best, and some people even lament.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Like, do we want to go back over your fucking tweets during Biden? Shut the fuck up. Anyways, point being is that she had this, that was the reaction, that was her, like, she put that video out. And in it, she attacks Candace Owens, specifically, as part of her little diatribe, which I got to say, you guys know how much I hate the infighting amongst maggots. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's the low hanging fruit. Okay, hold on. Okay, that's the full message. Hold on. I would rather, go to here. Because I ended up watching I've seen her whole statement. And that's not the big deal. The big deal is, where it is. Oh, Erica, I love, hold on, and I won't let go. Long ago and far away. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, Candace. Oh, Erica. Oh, Erica. Responding to Erica Kirk's call out. So, needless to say, she took it personally because she name drops her in it. So she should take it personally because, and by the way, all widow aspect aside, let's just put that in its own pocket as a human to human terrible thing. Everything about the rest of these two, fuck them. Absolutely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, bullshit artists. But I again, I don't mind them neck biting each other.
Comedians dressing up in whiteface, and I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband, and the list goes on.
I almost feel like we need a full on.
And on and on.
And on. Come play with us, Danny. Forever and ever.
The heels of the White House Correspondents' Dinner, she tweeted that she would be addressing her latest traumatization and
traumatization. When you say traumatize, the I is the strong I, but there's a soft I in traumatization. She was traumatized, or there was a traumatization of everyone there. She
did that today. She said, I need to spend time with my family. We should have pulled the tweet. She went literally in one sentence. She said, I after today's traumatizing shooting, I need to spend time with my family. And then I will be on the Charlie Kirk show on Wednesday. So I think she just needed 48 hours. And what we got today was objectively weird. It was weird for a couple of reasons. First is that it was 9 minutes, and then they...
You know what's weird? Why are you wearing Nellie Olson's dress from the famous episode of Little House called, I think, what was it, Carlson called it? A douchebag for Clara.
Just played Charlie Kirk clips for the remaining almost 2 hours. The second thing is that it was pre-recorded, okay? It was straight from the teleprompter, and it was very clearly not written by her.
And
we can
also, why not? Why would that be clear? I mean, they could have helped her shape it or something, or she's got a team, but the idea that she's like, write me up something where I'm really mad about Candace Owens, and I'll just say it.
Kind of go over the...
Why do I give a fuck what she's wearing? because she sells this trad wife thing, and it's kind of hilarious that she's dressing like what would Lenny Bruce said, she looked like a Guatemalan slave, like setting back Catholicism 100 years.
Points that she delivered. And yes, there's been immediate backlash. And yes, I am already being blamed for the immediate backlash because it's always some.
Also, I feel like she chose this outfit as a direct contrast to what Erica Kirk is wearing. Erica Kirk, who is dressed like Sarah Connor in Terminator 2.
Else's fault when it comes to Erica Kirk, okay? So the first thing that's weird is the reason that she gives for people asking that question, why did you go to the White House Correspondents' Center? You literally just said you couldn't do your UGA commitment because there were credible threats and you couldn't trust the Secret Service to absolve them. Then you did an event with Trump, which were
yeah, but the tickets were already sold. She knew it would be full.
Upon the Secret Service.
And obviously, it's the media, so there'd be plenty of coverage.
And then now you're doing another event, and it's like a press event, right? That actually Charlie hated. He always made fun of the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So why do you feel obliged to show up here? And here is the answer that she provided. Take a listen.
And everyone
I see what I mean? It's like she's wearing it in contrast. That's what that
is asking why I even went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And it was because many of the journalists in that room have attempted to dehumanize me. And
no, they haven't. Also, by the way, none of the ones that quote unquote dehumanized Erica Kirk after the shooting of her husband were there. Who the fuck is she talking about? Who at the Washington Post went, I think this bitch killed her husband? Like, nobody there. Nobody. And Candace wasn't invited. Tucker wasn't invited. Fucking Lionel, what's his name, wasn't invited. None of the people like on the right who've been shitting on her had tickets or were going. What the fuck are you talking about?
I wanted to meet some of them face to face. Quite
well, then then go to wherever their studio is.
Why have a conversation about me when you can have a conversation with me?
Yeah, so now an anecdote about how she walked up to someone who said terrible things about her and the death of her husband, and that was defamatory and made it sound like she murdered him. And she gave that person what for? I have no doubt that's what we will get.
So, for example, a journalist from the Daily Mail came up to me.
A journalist from the Daily Mail, the Murdoch paper, if I'm not mistaken. Certainly not the failing New York Times. Or the has-been Washington Post, which is dying a slow death. So slow that its subscribership is going up.
She introduced herself, and she was very gracious. She was saying, you look so beautiful. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Oh, yeah. Okay. She sounds like the enemy.
To which I replied, it is so nice to put a name to the face, especially with all of the slander, the lies, accusations that are out there surrounding my husband's murder and myself. And I said to her, you know what's so interesting? This is my...
Hold on. I call bullshit. Straight up. There is no fucking way that a rando Daily Mail reporter came up to her and said, hey, you look great, and I just wanted to give you my condolences because of all those articles I wrote calling you a murderer. It's just nonsense. Nobody did that. And there's no way her response specifically, there is no way her response was, well, thanks, I guess, but it's interesting to me that people will, write terrible things about me. Like, and that person was one of those people. Listen to her setup again. Listen to the setup again. Just.
It was up to me.
This woman from the Daily Mail, I'm assuming it seems like a woman. I think she said it, but I don't remember. Came up to her from the Daily Mail.
So,
basically a conservative-leaning paper.
Example, a journalist from the Daily Mail came up to me. She introduced herself. And she was very gracious. She was saying, you look so beautiful. I'm so sorry for your loss. To which I replied, It is so nice to put a name to the face, especially with all of the slander, the lies, accusations that are out there surrounding my husband's murder and myself. And I said,
hold on. That was her response to someone saying, my condolences. And her thing is, I recognize your name from stories that slandered me and either applauded or dismissed the murder of my husband. It's so nice to put a name to a face. I'm just telling you that didn't happen. There was no fucking way she rolled up picking fights like this. It didn't happen. I'm just saying, it did not happen. That's ridiculous.
to her, you know what's so interesting?
And then you followed it up with, you just called her out for dismissing or applauding the death of your husband and accusing you of murdering your husband. And you followed it up with, you know what I find interesting?
This is my first time at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And I find it so fascinating, the dynamic that is going on right now, because everyone is all dressed up and you guys are co-mingling in and out of each other's cocktail parties. And so for one night, you are able to put aside all of your differences for the sake of freedom of speech.
Oh, by the way, yeah, the people at the parties aren't necessarily the actual lawmakers and that kind of stuff. And certainly folks like you don't normally go. It is a press event. So the weird part is, I guess, Fox and Washington Post reporters talking to each other. But believe me, there's still animosity. And there's a reason why nobody hangs out with Jesse Waters, even at Fox. So.
And then by Monday morning, things will go back to being an absolute bloodbath between.
No, it's actually not a bloodbath. It's just people writing things.
All of you. To which she replied, literally, she said, I know. Isn't it special, right?
Also never happened. Honest to God. Does anybody believe that's how that conversation went down? Because I will tell you that if it was Trump telling the story, what I would assume is that he said those things to somebody else, somebody on his team, and then he projected it onto some stranger that said hello to him. I walked up to a woman and she said this to me, and I was like, what is this? What are you wearing, you dingy bitch? And what really happened was he said, oh, hello, good, thank you very much. Big fan, you love me. I'm glad you love me. What a dingy bitch. Like, that's what he did. He fucking, you know what I mean? Like, this was an internal conversation in her own head, or talking to her own assistant and going, can you believe her? Oh my God. Just mean girling.
Isn't tonight so special?
That, again, that never happened. There's no way. There's no way a reporter from the Daily Mail came up and went, I'm so sorry for your loss. And she went, oh yeah? Well, then why'd you write shit about me murdering my husband? You know what I think's really special? That you motherfuckers can be all friendly, and then on Monday you're going to go back to telling everybody I murdered my husband. And the woman went, I know, isn't it special? Like some fucking Stepford wife. It's just, it beggars belief. It's absurd.
Any buyers?
No, definitely not.
Any takers of that she went just for the social experiment of it all?
Oh no, that's not even the reach there. I give a shit what her bullshit reasoning was. That could even be the case. Sometimes you might go to the DNC or the RNC just to see what the fuck's going on. Go see how the other half lives. That is actually possible. What's not possible is that fictitious bullshit conversation she allegedly had with a reporter who accused her of murdering her husband from the Daily Mail. That, by the way, she knew her immediately and went, oh, you're so-and-so. It's nice to put a face to a name. So the next time I'm hating on you for accusing me of murder, I know exactly who to picture in my mind for the spell.
By the way, I know we're not allowed to remember anything she says yesterday, but I'm pretty sure that when she sat down with Caroline Levitt on stage At Turning Point event, she says that she didn't read the headline, she doesn't care, she's completely removed. We've been told over and over again that she's just not aware of what's going on. Now she's saying, I actually went to this event because I needed to confront these journalists who day in and day out, I actually know their names, which is more than I can say. I actually don't know the names of all journalists who write articles about me. I don't care to learn about their lives. I actually virtually never give them statements. Like my PR isn't open. You can just go out there and say, she doesn't care, she doesn't care, she doesn't care, because I just got tired of answering for things.
So then why do you have a PR person?
But
can't you just have a little sign, like a no solicitors sign on your porch, that you just have another sign that I don't care?
that's what we're getting. Now we're getting that she went there and she got dolled up. And it was because she simply just wanted to, and she even went to a pre-party, I believe, right? That was posted as well. But that was just because she wanted, it was a social experiment. Okay. And
well, she wasn't just going to go there as a social experiment. She was going to go let him have it. Tell him who's boss. Which is even more nuts.
Next, she's going to say...
What are you going to do? Sit there during dinner or while Trump's talking or something and go, I see you. I see you. Fuck you. I read. All right.
Something that is ironic. Okay. She's going to call out those journalists because she's on a... That's why she went to just like, I don't like you journalists. She's going to call them out for their reactions to the shooting. Okay. Take a listen.
If you were in that room, you had no way of knowing what the status of the shooter was, how many there were.
Yeah, that's true of the lobby as well. Only difference was if you were in the lobby and you heard gunshots, there were no Secret Service people between you and the shooter. Does that make sense? Like everyone else in the hotel had no idea, if they could hear the shots, where the shooter was in their proximity. But the one thing they did know was, unlike the people in the ballroom, they didn't have Secret Service in the hallway outside, blocking the exits, and inside the venue itself to either return fire or protect people. Agreed? That didn't seem like an important detail?
Or honestly, really anything. It was just utter chaos.
Yeah, but that's true anytime Trump makes a speech. So,
and so during an active shooting, these journalists are using their phones to find moments to capture for clips.
Well, they're not trying to get Instagram thumbs up. They're reporters. One would think you would want it to be second nature.
They were so concerned about getting a video in a room with an active shooter that they could have accidentally and quite literally filmed themselves being shot.
Right. That's the war correspondents do that. Why do you think this is weird? Have you seen them when hurricanes come to town?
Many of those people have become so desensitized.
They're not desensitized. That's the sensitivity level necessary to do their job.
That fight or flight became secondary to the opportunity of putting themselves into the story, which ironically breaks the number one rule of journalism.
No, capturing the story isn't putting yourself in the story. What the fuck are you talking about? Honest to God, I don't know the point. I'm confused about the point she thinks she's making, other than she projects her own ego onto other people and assumes that they would be filming it like reporters from the biggest news organizations in the world would holding their phone up over their table, pointing it towards the fucking door, are somehow self-aggrandizing.
Anybody in the chat want to tell her what's ironic about that statement? Anybody remember Terrell Farnsworth? And when we said that was weird, they said it wasn't weird. And now Erica is basically going, who would record themselves in an active shooting? This is Terrell Farnsworth, doesn't know how many shooters there are, doesn't know what's going on. Seconds. This is not even a minute after Charlie hits the ground and he's behind him and he recorded himself. Take a listen.
They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie.
Yeah, see, like up to this point, I've seen this video before, but up to this point, I don't see anything wrong with this kind of circumstance. I don't know what his relationship. He's probably part of TPUSA, but filming it for that part of it is just generationally how people react in a lot of these situations. They film extraordinary situations, especially if they're not involved in it, just to capture it and, you know, for posterity, for, you know, infotainment, for, evidence later, whatever. It doesn't matter. Whoever is doing this, individuals. Yeah, and he says that they shot Charlie. Who the fuck? Yeah. But this is, it gets weird. Because instead of holding the camera on him on the truck, like before they leave, it hasn't even left yet. And he's doing this.
They just shot Charlie.
It's like he keeps checking his own phone to make sure that he's still in frame.
He's dead. God help him.
By the way, like he didn't turn it back around until the truck had driven away with Charlie in it. So he didn't show that. Like, I don't know how much you could see of in the people that were running with it where Charlie was in that, and then moving him out and taking him to the hospital. But
I'm just pointing out irony.
Yes, I did. I filmed a burning Tesla dealership. That is exactly true. But I was also I was not in harm's way. Neither was that guy. Neither were the people in the ballroom, quite frankly.
That's all. I know I'm going to get crushed for that. How dare you remember? I go kind of spending a lot of time on this case, and it's part of the
case.
Our reactions that the public doesn't feel good about.
She's like the Big Lebowski. Like, this case has a lot of, ins and outs, You're not privy to all the new shit, So, but hey, that's what you pay me for.
So I just think it's weird to call out journalists for the exact same actions that your team took. That still works for you. Taking down cameras. All that's a bit weird.
So, all right. Anyways, you get the point. They go back and forth. I don't want to, I already ran out of time. Well, I started a little bit late, so work with me. One more thing. It's, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Oh God. And now I pulled it. Yep. I've got 15, 20 minutes. Thank you. Oh, we're going to raid Liberal Dan. Okay. Right now, is he up? Because I don't want to bogart too much time from him if we're going to do that. But I want to share this real quick. God damn it. There's so much. These guys are such a mess. But here's I guess Tucker talking to doing a message directly to Trump and titled "You have failed. You have not done a good job running this country." Wow. What a zinger. So it's such powerful words.
This is how you treat people you hate.
The fuck kind of audio is that?
This is how you treat people you hate.
Do they fix it later?
Normal leaders would ask.
God damn, that's terrible. I don't know if you hear that like I hear that, but that sounds like shit. All right, I'll find the other one. We'll find the Tucker video just of Tucker. All right, I thought this started. Well, no, a little bit later on that. Let me grab this, and I'll try to go back to here. We'll go. There we go, and Tucker Carlson, and then the stupidity, the dumminess, and. This is the only thing accident was tracking ran factor. I suppose the disgusting plan for. Yeah. Oh, okay. Nope, that's Lindsey Graham one. Open link a new tab. All right, one more thing. Open link a new tab. There we go. All right, so hopefully this is, I don't know if this is the same one. It's clear what's actually going on is the title. This is the most recent Tucker Carlson video that I can find. And it's a little on the nose. Little, in case you're wondering, that's Trump's weird fucking prison headshot photo that he thinks makes him look tough and not at all like he's an old man staring into the abyss. And then the Capitol dome open with a hand like Cousin It, thing, I guess, holding a Israeli flag. I wonder what he thinks is actually going on.
It's yet more evidence, and that evidence has been mounting for many years, as we're going to show you in a minute. There is a direct connection between loyalty to a foreign power and a desire to hurt this country. You cannot be loyal to two masters at once.
Well, I mean, you can, but it's a little dirty.
You will love one and hate the other, to restate. And again, that's not just a Bible verse.
Also, by the way, for the record, the U.S. government is not my master, and nor is it, quote unquote, the master of any elected official. It's a really fucked up analogy. It's not weird that he would consider Israel to be a master, because the idea is that if you support them over the United States, they are your master because they have coercion or violence or some threat therein that you have to acquiesce to. You have to submit to that master. But in the case of the United States, if it's your country, the United States is not your fucking master. It's just, this is odd. But then, what do you expect from Tucker? Because,
I like wood.
Exactly.
Deeper and longer.
It's the daily lived reality of every human being. You can have but one true loyalty, and you will hate the rest. And they clearly do.
Also, who lives with, quote unquote, one true loyalty? It's an odd analogy any fucking ways. Like, does your family count as one big true loyalty, or do you have to pick winners within the family? Well, my kid, obviously, and my girl, and that kind of stuff. But I don't know. There are a couple of cousins. I'm definitely he's definitely loyal to America, unless until the check from Qatar clears or the check from Russia clears.
And we've known this for a while. So here's now semi-famous, not famous enough, videotape of a man called Bill Kristol speaking at a AEI event. AEI is a neoconservative think tank in Washington, the American Enterprise Institute. And Bill Kristol,
where you spoke many times,
was for many, many years the most famous and most influential neoconservative voice in Washington, D.C., and hence the country. He's one of the founders of the Project for the New American Century, which laid out why, in about 1997, 98, why we needed to go to war with Iraq.
Right. And also why, it was a good counterpoint to what Democrats were saying. And yet you vilified Democrats your entire time on CNN and, of course, Fox, and championed the plan that Bill Kristol helped to fashion there. And now want to go, it's been happening the whole time. It's been operating underneath. It's threaded through everything. Well, then it was threaded through every broadcast of yours on Fox. It was threaded through every episode of Crossfire where you defended the Republican Party and the neocons themselves, when it suited you. So
this was before the pretext of 9/11 was introduced, before they told us that actually Saddam was behind 9/11. This was just a blueprint for how the United States military.
By the way, I don't honestly remember anybody saying, certainly in the media or in the U.S. government, that Saddam was behind 9/11. We were very clear that it was Osama bin Laden, and we were avoiding talking about the fact that he was Saudi, and so were the hijackers, and that it was the justification for Iraq was yellow cake uranium and the same shit they're using for Iran.
Needs to regime change Israel's opponents in the region to give Israel regional hegemony. And now a lot of us who watched this happen, in fact, I worked about 10 feet away from where that document was formulated, didn't pay a lot of attention. It didn't seem, first of all, likely to happen. We really...
Also, hey, again, fuck you, you owe us all an apology. Because I personally, as well as, I don't know, Tom Hartman, Stephanie Miller, fucking Rachel Maddow, where you got your idea for your haircut. We've all been talking about PNAC and their plan forever. I was a bit, I like Wesley Clark a lot. He was my first choice when he was running for president. When they were starting to formulate before Hillary entered and became the nominee. I was like, he should be in the cabinet, or vice president would be perfect. If Wesley Clark had been the vice president, quite frankly, I think we would have won. That would have pushed it over the top. I think Tim Kaine he's a great guy, whatever, but it was a drag comparatively. Wesley Clark is famously the guy who came out and said there was this memo that related to the PNAC folks that they're going to knock off 7 countries and Iran is the last one, right? And when he says he was 10 feet away, it's because he was part of all this. So if it was threaded throughout and nobody took it seriously, you were either so fucking stupid then or you're fucking stupid now. Or I think what's more likely is you were for it then, and now you're lying because that ship is sailed.
Invade Iraq? Kill Gaddafi? Overturn the Assad regime in Syria? I mean, it's so far away. Are we really going to do that? We've got problems here. I don't think it's actually going to happen, number one. And number two,
number two is Democrats never drafted a plan like this. Never. You will never see fucking, I don't know, like an Act Blue related left-leaning or Democratic organization that just magically fucking drafted up a neocon nation toppling plan. Think of one. Anyone. Find one where any president did it. Obama, Clinton himself, his national security team. Never sat down and drafted something like this. Republicans did, outside of the actual control of the presidency, with the idea that if the next time we're in, we're doing this shit. And what did Trump do? Got elected and started signing pages of it.
It's just a different realm. That's foreign policy. That's like an academic exercise. It doesn't really have much to do with life here in the United States.
So why draft it up at all as a member of the American Enterprise Institute?
And in any case, the people advocating for it are doing so, and they tell us this all the time because they think it's good for the United States. This is in our interest. This is for our safety.
Yes. And no Democrats ever signed off on that. No one ever handed Hillary Clinton this during her tenure as a U.S. Senator and Secretary of State. And they said, hey, take a look at this PNAC list. And she was like, yeah, that sounds like the deal. Let's do that. Didn't happen. Did not. But Trump gets in and immediately starts chipping away at that shit.
We need to spend $1 trillion or now $1.5 trillion a year on the Pentagon so we will thrive at home. So the homeland will be safe and prosperous. That's what we call it the Department of Homeland Security, because the first concern is the homeland, the country where we live, the country our ancestors built, the United States.
Yeah, except that's not what they're really doing. Like Trump wants to turn us into basically a gated community for the haves and fuck everybody else.
That's the goal, is to protect the United States and its people. Because what is the United States but its people? That's all.
Well, excuse me, Mr. No Borders, Mr. Open Borders. It's a geographic place as well. Otherwise, how do you enforce the rules if you don't have borders? But anyways.
It is. It's American citizens. And we need to help them. And admittedly, it's kind of complicated, our plan. We're going to bring democracy to flower in the Middle East, but that will make it a lot better here. That's what they were telling us. And some of us who weren't paying enough attention or weren't wise enough to understand the difference between a truth and a lie.
Shit on people like myself who were saying, that's a lie. Like, can you believe this fuckwad playing dumb now? While he's like, some of us didn't even know better. You were on fucking CNN. You were on Fox. You don't get to plead ignorance when you're literally, your only major jobs have been on news channels.
Kind of ignored it. Okay, now, Syria, Iraq, go crazy. But with the rise of Donald Trump in 2015, it became a lot clearer what was actually going on.
Yes, you were actually supporting him to do all of this shit. You could no longer plead ignorance.
Donald Trump, whatever his demonstrated faults, is brilliant at one.
Oh, you mean him being best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 27 years and Roy Cohn up until his death, and basically his only two friends he's really had in his life. Both of them are dead pedophiles, allegedly dead. I mean, obviously with Epstein, but you mean other than that, or
thing? He is a genius, and this may be unintentional, at bringing into stark relief the differences in worldviews between people and groups.
No, he takes real conversation and boils it down into vitriolic pissing fests like it's an episode of The Real Housewives of fucking Dallas.
Donald Trump is a living Rorschach blot. You look at Donald Trump, what do you see?
An adjudicated rapist, a convicted fraudster, a man who literally ginned up the first real attack against our democracy, material attack against our democracy since the War of 1812. You know, Timu Antichrist.
And so his purpose really for the last 10 years, maybe his most important purpose, has been to show the rest of us what the debate is really about and what the stakes really are and what the people involved in those debates actually think. Because something about Donald Trump evokes a kind of involuntary honesty in people and they just blurt out what they think.
Oh, you mean like Elon Musk doing his Roman salute and Donald Trump coming up and talking about eugenics and if it's all about good genes?
And that happened to Bill Kristol in 2017. Now, Kristol was a kind of half-hearted Trump supporter.
And you're going to criticize him for realizing what you're realizing now in 2017.
Until the moment in early 2016 when Trump traveled to Greenville, South Carolina and engaged in a Republican candidates debate, a primary debate with Jeb Bush and the other 27 people running that year, whatever the number was. And during that debate, he famously said to Jeb Bush, your brother got us into the dumbest war in history. The Iraq War was a huge mistake. Only the weapons manufacturers got anything out of that. It hurt this country, killed a lot of
Yeah, he was lying.
people, and it drained our treasury. That was a mistake.
And then he said, hold my beer.
It was at that specific moment that Trump lost the support of Bill Kristol and everyone like Bill Kristol in Washington, the neoconservative foreign policy establishment. The people...
Yeah, but they got to be really happy now. It's kind of like the anti-abortionists who didn't realize that Trump was just, you know, or the pro-choice folks who didn't realize Trump was just lying for Jesus.
Who really sincerely believed the signers of the Project for the New American Century mission statement, which would include Dick Cheney and Bob Kagan, John Bolton, all of them.
Yes, who you supported the entire time they were in office.
All of those people
who are no longer in office, so you can shit all over them.
Decided that Trump was not simply a candidate they couldn't support, he was their enemy. And they became famously Never Trump. And that's why. That was the issue. His criticism of the Iraq War.
Yeah, you don't think there were other reasons? So you think they were just single issue voters on attacking other countries besides Iraq? Nothing else he did. Everything else firing on all cylinders.
Was the issue that drove them not simply away from Trump, but to the polar opposite position. Many became Democrats, including Bill Kristol. And that
couldn't be the rapey thing.
Really should have told us something.
And the fraud thing. And the fact that he was lying about attacking these countries.
There, really? That's your red line? The Iraq War?
Well, I don't know if that was his red line. You're asserting that it is. I'm just, because of who you are, I'm going to call bullshit on that. No, I'm not going to assume that Bill Kristol hated Trump because of that one moment. That his mismanagement of COVID that cost 1 million lives and his fucking around with Xi Jinping and being Putin's best buddy and doing everything he could to run interference for Putin might have been part of it as well. And also the 27, rape accusations against him. His best friend, his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein and Roy Cohn, his fraud overall, the fact that he didn't even write the Art of the Deal. I mean, it's kind of like Santorum. There's big reasons to not like him, but any of them will do.
Why is that so important to you? What about the opioid crisis raging here? What about the fact that our industrial base is gone? Have you driven across America recently? How's it look?
I mean, have you driven through Russia at all? This is a guy, by the way, who went to Moscow. They took him to like 5 sites, and he's like, "Oh my God, this place is like a space station."
Midtown Manhattan, is it pretty clean?
Yeah.
And this immigration question, why shouldn't we build a wall? We paid for Israel's wall. Why can't we have one? What's the
Well, Israel's not surrounded by a wall, for the record.
answer?
There was a specific one between them and parts of Gaza, not even the whole thing.
There was
They had a chain link fence in a lot of places.
very little conversation
Maybe should have had a wall. Who knows?
about that. Why is this one issue?
It wasn't. This is a false premise. I'm just going to say, for the record, this is just a lie. His assumption that the only reason Bill Kristol could come up, I mean, Trump is so likable and so honest and such a good man and a decent, well-meaning Christian soul, that the only reason Bill Kristol, that nasty Bill Kristol, didn't like him was because he criticized the Iraq war.
Support for Israel, the only thing that matters to you. It's hard to know, but it clearly was. And in the case of Bill Kristol, we're grateful that it was.
By the way, for the record, somebody mentioned, like, does Tucker even realize how expensive gas is? No, he's a trust fund baby. He has never had money issues, any real ones. So, fuck off. And when he's like, "Have you driven through America?" He has not driven through America. He's not about to.
Because he was so enraged by Trump that he began to tell the truth. And he began to see what he really thinks, not simply about Trump, not that interesting, but about the United States.
Why not that interesting? He's a former member of the guy's party, and Trump is president of the United States. Not that interesting. I mean, it's basically just like tit for tat or something.
And its population, the people who live here, Americans, American citizens. What do you think of them, Bill Kristol? Well, here in 2017, Bill Kristol explains what he thinks of the rest of us. Watch.
Look, to be totally honest, if things are so bad as you say with the white working class, don't you want to get new Americans in who aren't going to be? I'm serious. You can make a case that this is going on too long and this is too crazy, probably. And I hope this thing isn't being
Ooh, someone's at the door.
Videotaped or ever shown anywhere. Whatever tiny pathetic future I have is going to be totally collapsed. You can make a case that America has been great because I think John Adams said this at the beginning, right? Basically, if you're in a free society, a capitalist thriving society, after 2, 3, 4 generations of hard work, everyone becomes kind of decadent, lazy, spoiled, whatever. And then luckily, you have these waves of people coming in from Italy and Ireland and Russia and now Mexico who really want to work hard and really want to succeed and really want their kids to live better lives than them and aren't sort of clipping.
Okay, so this is the problem that Tucker has with what Bill Kristol said, that this isn't about the fact that, like, he's not hiding behind this. And he did all this like pro-immigration talk just because he wanted Trump to go down because he really wanted another Iraq war, or he was mad at Trump for denigrating it. This is the part that pissed off Tucker. The idea that immigrants are a plus.
Bonds or hoping that they can hang on. And meanwhile,
and that he mentioned Mexicans as opposed to not just Italians and Russians and others.
We grew up with spoiled kids and stuff.
And Irish, by the way. He kind of mentions, if you'll notice, it's not quite an accident. He mentions 3 groups that were at different times sort of intentionally excluded from the white working class group, because that's part of the conversation they were having.
It's hard to even comprehend the contempt in that statement. We're clipping coupons and kind of hanging on, lazy, decadent, spoiled. He's describing Americans. He's describing you and the people who live next to you and down the street and across the country. He's describing people whose ancestors built this nation.
Right, but didn't build it themselves and aren't currently building it, and are quite frankly doing like desk jobs and that kind of shit, but aren't doing, working in nursing homes and building, reinstalling sewer pipes and doing, roofing in 100-degree heat in Las Vegas in fucking July.
And he's given up on them.
He hasn't given up on it. He's saying it's to decry that they understood that after a while people get comfortable, and you need that immigration is one of the ways you feed into people rebuilding the country on a physical level.
He hates them.
Okay, sure.
And he doesn't have the self-control.
Well, he made a self-deprecating joke as well in that.
Prevent himself from saying so out loud, which he just did, clipping coupons. Now, think of it this way. If you're a leader of this or any other country or any organization or any family, your duty is to the people you lead. And that duty has to be informed by love for those people.
Well, then I guess everybody that works at Tucker Carlson networks on the Tucker Carlson show are fucked.
And so imagine the father of unruly kids taking the same position. My kids are hard to deal with. They're lazy. They're spoiled.
I think I'll adopt one. It's a great analogy. Yeah.
They don't have any money. They're clipping coupons or whatever, just hanging on. So to a father who loves his kids, of course, the answer would be, what can I do to help? How can I make
Yes. Spoil the rod, spare the rod, spoil the child.
them less lazy, less entitled? How
Cattle prod. That'll work.
can I give them spark, drive? How can I get them on the right path? No decent father would say,
Yeah, I think they were having a comment about immigration in general. And the idea is that the lazy and comfortable Americans he's talking about are relatively well-to-do compared to people who do manual labor. And that every society elevates itself as best it can past having to do baseline manual labor. It automates and makes efficient as much of the manual labor as they possibly can. And in cases where they don't, they bring in outsiders to do that. And that either invigorates people, either to find, stuff for those folks to do, or to go, damn, these people work hard. I should give that a try. It's silly. Again, he's a trust fund baby in a fake fucking log cabin.
kids are way below my expectation. It's inevitable, by the way. When they get to their teen years, they're just useless. I'm getting new kids. I'm just going to adopt some new kids. Maybe they don't even speak English. I don't have to even listen to their concerns, really.
Well, enough about Elon Musk.
Deeper and longer. I like wood.
Right.
Maybe they'll just be so grateful for 3 square meals, they'll do whatever I say. And my own
yes, again, H-1B visas, anyone?
kids, they can go die. A father with that
Yeah, I don't think that the whole point was they can go die. It's that they're healthy, fed, and taken care of. They're so comfortable in their lifestyle that they're not doing the mechanical and manual labor stuff. Which, by the way, Tucker's kid, worked in the fucking White House in JD Vance's group or whatever. Like, his kids aren't fucking, like, their idea of manual labor is putting their own fly on their fishing line.
attitude would be a monster. A leader of a country with that attitude is a monster. And that is exactly the attitude Bill Kristol revealed, maybe for the first time, in public.
Bullshit. Also, you agree with him about Trump on almost everything, except, of course, brown people.
And it's an attitude with profound consequences. And maybe it shouldn't surprise us.
Oh my God. All right. I'm tired of his shit. It's getting boring. It's clear what is actually going on. No, it isn't. The fact that here's what's going on. This is what has been going on. This is what's still going on. This asshole supported everything that Bill Kristol and the Project for a New American Century and the American Enterprise Institute and fucking William F. Buckley School for Boys did. And all of those things. He was for it. He defended it. He vilified and dehumanized, to borrow the term of the day, Democrats that he was against or whatever. And now that he's shoe is on the other foot or he's leaving it behind. He does not have the moral fortitude to apologize for carrying water for this shit. And he wants it to make it like, you know how he's always saying that, like, we're in Iran because Netanyahu whispered in Trump's ear? Now he said all the shit he said at CNN and Fox because Bill Kristol whispered in his ear. Maybe, just maybe, take responsibility for what you said and apologize to all the people you shit on during that time. Maybe. Just a thought. Because you protected Trump. You supported him. If there's a single issue way to drop out of support for Trump, it was Tucker, not Bill Kristol. See you guys tomorrow for Friday Eye and regular show. Like, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, support the show.
With a crooked smile, words spill out, all venom, no style. Promises made, they rot in the air. A handshake, a lie, a blank, cold stare. Puppets dance, the strings are tight. Shadows whisper in the dead of night. This is some bullshit.
We're going to raid Liberal Dan right now. I'll let you guys go. Have a beautiful day. Thank you guys for your support. Don't forget Patreon, Venmo, all that stuff. I never say it. It's fine. But I appreciate you and your eyes and your ears.